What's up, everyone? It's your boy Sven, and today we're not doing politics once again. Shocker. Well, it's a little bit political, but I'm doing a bit of a different video today. Today, I want to talk about nature, just generally speaking. The great outdoors, the grasslands, the forests, the beaches, all that kind of stuff. And I want to talk about it from a more kind of emotional, philosophical, or spiritual perspective. Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like people get too logic-brained sometimes, and just kind of ignore how they feel. So, let's get to it. In my view, I feel that witnessing the beauty of nature is a core part of the human condition. I feel like it's tantamount to being a human being, even, or necessary, something like that. After all, the natural earth is where us humans were born from, and where we were adapted to live through evolution. And so it just kind of makes me sad that we see the beauty of Earth paved over and replaced with shopping malls and parking lots. And in fact, concrete landscapes are actually less amenable to human life than the great outdoors is, It just kind of seems counterintuitive that in our efforts to modernize and industrialize, we've basically only made the planet less habitable for ourselves. Of course, for those of us who get to reap the benefits of modernization, we're living pretty comfortably. My apartment sure is cozy. It's got heat and AC, a refrigerator, a nice stove and an oven, a comfy bed, electricity, and most importantly of all, Wi-Fi. But even for me, it's not so great. The moment I try to walk around the town I live in, walk around the block, or go around the town that I live in, everything becomes a lot less cozy. I mean, I live in essentially a city of roads, with not a whole lot else. Just existing outside of my home is deeply uncomfortable. It's noisy from the cars, it smells of exhaust, the ground is this hard cement, hard as a rock. There's no plants or animals, really. There's no place for people to congregate. In the summer, the pavement reflects the sun's rays, making it hotter than it really should be. But the thing is, I live in a nice-as-hell area, and I'm one of the lucky ones. I can walk to the grocery store. I can walk to a few cafes and a few, quaint public parks. A lot of people would kill to have this kind of stuff nearby, so it just makes me sad how viscerally displeasing modern cities are. In America, I should say, even at their supposed best. Now, most of the issues I'm talking about, I'm assuming, are issues that you'll find largely in the United States. At least, in a lot of countries outside of Europe. I've never understood why so many people seem to give no shit about the environment. Sorry, I'm not in 4th grade. The hell? That voice crack. But people don't seem to care about the environment at all. And I'm not even talking about climate change stuff. I get that can be hard to conceptualize. It can seem like a faraway issue, in 2100 we're gonna have a problem, oh no. But no, the thing that gets me is all of the immediate stuff. Tearing down forests, dumping chemicals in rivers, paving over vast swaths of grasslands, etc. It seems like so many people these days preach and opine about the glory of returning to tradition. They hold that shit in such high regard. But then they never really seem to acknowledge that the relationship between man and nature is a core part of this human tradition. It's a core part of the human condition, even. Whether that be hunting, foraging, collecting firewood, and drinking water. Having a close encounter with a deer where you put your hand out and it maybe goes out to sniff it but runs away or something. Throwing some food to a local pack of coyotes or something. It's just weird that you see people, especially people who live in the countryside, in the US, where they do have access to nature, You see these people and they don't seem to actually care about any of these kinds of human traditions. They don't seem to care about the place they live in really at all. They somehow see driving around in their pickup truck, shotgunning a beer and shooting random shit on the side of the road as tradition. Now, the most interesting kind of thought experiment I had thinking about all this was, how do you kind of deal with the cognitive dissonance if you take the tenets of monotheistic religion seriously? So from a monotheistic religious standpoint, you would think that the large-scale environmental destruction we've seen would be completely unacceptable. Now, I'm not a Christian, a Muslim, or a Jew myself, so I don't really know for sure how people feel about this kind of thing, but bear with me here. So if God created the earth and all of its splendors, then why is it okay for us to destroy it? Isn't tearing down a forest that God created himself and replacing that with an artificial landscape, wouldn't that be an affront to God himself? Aren't we kind of playing God in the ways we alter the natural world to meet our needs? It just seems odd that we don't see more religious folks in the environmental community having these kinds of gripes, you know. But I suppose many in the faith believe that we're God's chosen children, destined to reign supreme over the planet Earth. So I suppose we can do what we want because God favors us over all of his other creations. But, you know, regardless of all that, I just thought thinking about nature in this kind of mindset would be interesting. And if you actually are religious, let me know how you feel about it. Because I just, you know, I don't care about God. I don't give a shit about what he has to say about me, you know. It just feels like one of those things where it's like, am I like the weird one? Like, does nature really do nothing for y'all? Is there no sense of joy or freedom when you're out on a hike away from the city? Are the variety of bizarre, crazy, wacky plants and animals we see not interesting at all? And on the flip side of all of that, do concrete jungles not make you guys viscerally uncomfortable? Because I know that when I pass through industrial town, like, I don't know, some parts of like West Covina or whatever, or like random ass factory towns in the middle of nowhere, that kind of shit makes me uneasy at like a core level. It's all concrete, spread and sprawled as far as the eye can see, with no changes in elevation, no natural landscapes, nothing. There's no establishments, no parks, no people who live there, no housing, nothing. It's just factories and car mechanics and like, I don't even know what the fuck, like junkyards and shit. And I can't really explain it, but that kind of thing just genuinely makes me squirm. Like, I guess it's the idea that if I ever got stuck in one of those places, like, where the hell would I go? Like, there's nowhere to even buy food, no place of refuge from the elements. It's even worse than an actual city, it's just cars. Except, I guess, no one really drives through, so it's just quiet, empty, cold, harsh concrete and factories. Of course, you can make the argument that being stranded on a mountain wouldn't be much better for me, but I don't know, at least I could find a cave or some burrows to camp out in. I could at least try to forage or hunt or something. The trees could give me cover from the elements at least a little bit. I mean, I'd probably die either way without my phone, but like, I don't know, it just makes me uncomfortable. So, I don't know, how do y'all feel about this kind of stuff? Like, I really do find the natural world just beautiful, fascinating, interesting. There's so much science, so many just neat-looking creatures and plants. It's refreshing when you're out there. You can breathe some fresh air, you don't have to hear noisy-ass cars, you don't have to deal with traffic, all that shit. So, yeah, I don't know, I just feel like I'm speaking to something in the human condition, and I feel like so many people have just become so disconnected from the world around them. Let me know what you think about all this. This was just a random-ass rant, because I felt like it, so if you like rants, you can like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know, fucking kill me, I guess. God. Bazinga.